There are moments that appear quietly, disguised as ordinary seconds, and slip into our lives forever. On a cold, rainy afternoon in a crowded cafe, no one noticed the tired girl with a prosthetic leg until she stopped beside a single father and softly asked, "Can I sit here?" If you believe in compassion, hope, and second chances, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more stories. Let's begin. The cafe was packed, buzzing with voices and the sound of rain drumming against the windows. People shook off umbrellas, ordered warm drinks, and hurried to claim seats before the next wave of customers arrived. But near the doorway stood a girl who didn't blend into the rush. 12-year-old Ellie leaned heavily on her crutches, her prosthetic leg trembling under her weight. Her cheeks were flushed from the cold, her clothes damp, and every breath she took looked like an effort. Most customers glanced at her with brief sympathy before turning away, pretending not to see her struggle. Ellie scanned the tables anyway, hoping someone, anyone, might offer a spot to rest. Finally, she approached a table where Daniel, a widowed single father, sat with his children, Harper and Mason. Her voice, barely above a whisper, carried more courage than strength. Can I sit here?" Daniel looked up, and something in Ellie's exhausted expression struck a familiar ache in him. Without hesitation, he nodded and shifted his chair, gently making room. In a world that often hurried past people like her, he decided she wouldn't be invisible today. Ellie lowered herself carefully into the seat, releasing a quiet sigh as if she'd been holding her breath for miles. Her crutches slid against the table leg, clattering softly. Daniel noticed everything: the frayed straps on her backpack, her rain-soaked sleeves, the deep fatigue etched into her small face. Harper and Mason watched her with curiosity rather than discomfort, something Ellie clearly wasn't used to. After a long pause, Ellie began to speak. Her words came slowly, as though she was assembling them for the first time. She had been walking home from school when the stump of her prosthetic leg began aching fiercely. Her mother worked 2 double shifts that day and couldn't pick her up. Bus fare was out of reach until payday. She explained she was born with a congenital condition that led to her amputation as a toddler, speaking not dramatically, just matter of fact, as though it was simply another part of life she had learned to accept. But Daniel heard something layered beneath her calm voice, a child forced to be brave too often, too soon. The kind of quiet strength that only grows in the absence of options. And as Ellie tucked her hands into her sleeves to warm her red fingers, Daniel felt a pang of recognition, the same kind he once felt in himself after losing his wife and learning to navigate fatherhood alone. Daniel ordered Ellie a warm sandwich and a hot chocolate, placing them gently in front of her. At first she froze, unsure whether she was allowed to accept such kindness. But when Harper nudged the plate toward her with a soft grin, Ellie's eyes flickered with gratitude, and she took her first bite as though warmth itself was returning to her bones. As she ate, Harper and Mason flooded her with gentle questions, the kind that children ask not out of pity but genuine interest. What stickers decorated her crutches? What subjects did she like in school? Did the prosthetic make walking feel strange? Ellie answered shyly, but the more she spoke, the more her posture relaxed. It was as if the loneliness she carried had begun to melt, piece by fragile piece. Then, in a voice so small it almost disappeared under the sound of clinking dishes, Ellie admitted she wasn't ready to go home. Not because she was unsafe, but because her mother, already carrying too much, would feel crushed with guilt knowing Ellie had walked so far alone. "She already works so hard," Ellie whispered, staring at her Coco. "I don't want her to feel like she failed me." Daniel's heart tightened. He knew that feeling intimately, the fear of disappointing the people who depend on you. Daniel made the decision before Ellie even finished speaking. "How about we drive you home?" he asked gently. Ellie's head snapped up, her eyes wide, shimmering with disbelief. Kindness that direct was something she wasn't accustomed to. It stunned her so deeply she couldn't reply at first. Outside, the storm had calmed to a soft drizzle. Daniel held the door for her, and Harper helped carry Ellie's backpack. As Ellie maneuvered toward the car, she murmured something fragile and tremulous. "No one's ever helped me like this before, except my mom." Her words hit Daniel like a quiet blow. He placed a comforting hand on her shoulder, careful and warm. "Well," he told her, "today we're on your team too." Ellie blinked quickly, fighting tears she wasn't used to showing. The ride was calm and gentle, filled with soft questions from the kids and quiet reassurances from Daniel. And for the first time in a long time, Ellie felt the weight on her chest shift, replaced with something unfamiliar: safety. When Daniel's car pulled up to the worn apartment building, Ellie's mother, Rachel, burst outside in a state of panic. Her face was pale, her breath shaky, terror written plainly across every feature. But when she saw Ellie step out carefully, supported by Daniel, with Harper and Mason hovering protectively, her fear broke into overwhelming relief. Rachel pulled Ellie into her arms, tears spilling freely. She thanked Daniel again and again, apologizing for the condition of their lives, for the long walk, for everything she felt she'd failed to provide. Daniel gently stopped her. "You're doing more than enough," he told her. "Your daughter is strong because of you." Ellie, unable to hold it together any longer, burst into tears, soft, trembling ones, filled not with sadness but release. She hugged Daniel tightly and whispered, "Thank you. You don't know how much this meant." Daniel hugged her back, his own voice thick. He watched Ellie disappear inside with her mother, feeling a warmth settle in his chest, a reminder that small acts still matter, that kindness can soften even the hardest days. And as his children reached for his hands, Daniel realized one simple truth. Sometimes a seat at a crowded cafe is more than a chair. Sometimes it is a lifeline, one that changes a child's day and a father's heart. Thanks for being here. Like and subscribe to keep more unforgettable stories coming.